Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's January 10th. It's been about 7 days since we planted these tomato and pepper seeds, and we're going to do an update video. And yes, it's cold outside, mid-30s all day, a little bit of drizzling snow, so we're going to be inside. Okay, none of our peppers have started coming up yet, which peppers take a little bit longer to germinate, and especially when it's cooler, they'll take a little bit longer. But our tomatoes, they have germinated just fine. And you can see, if I didn't pot these up, these would really be leggy tomatoes, because right now they're growing fast. They're in here where it stays up around 65 to 70 degrees, maybe a little bit more. And it doesn't take them long to start shooting up and going for light amongst all each other. Now, these are my Cherokee purples. Now, in my original video, I said maybe I'll plant about half a dozen, but I think I'm going to plant quite a few of those. And being there's quite a few red snappers, we'll probably plant a dozen of these. The rest, hosinators, we'll fill a tray about a half a dozen, and then our cherry tomatoes, we'll do half a dozen. But this is a real easy process, potting these up, and we'll go through it. Okay, I'm going to start out with my cherry tomatoes, and I'll just put my tag over there. I'm only going to do 6 of these, and that's only to fill up a tray. I might not plant that many actually of these. And I'm just going to let this dirt, this potting mix, just kind of fall apart from the roots. I'll get these roots out, and I'm going to pick me about 6 good ones. Now, once I get finished with this, a lot of times I could recycle this potting mix, but when I'm planting my seeds, I don't generally recycle it, because what happens is I get plants that are seeds that are not germinated yet, and I end up with a situation. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use my handy dandy tool. I just take a popsicle stick and I make a V in it. Makes it real easy. I'm going to put me a hole down in there deep. As you can see, I went way down there. And then I'm just going to grab this plant by its leaves here, and I'm going to kind of guide it down in there real deep by its roots. And now, even though that plant was really leggy, now you can see it's not leggy at all. It's and we'll just do that with all of them. Now, we're not going to press this dirt down. I actually water it down when I put them in there, so I want to really try to make sure I get the roots down in there. Now, I'm using the same mix as I started my seeds in. I just always use that same deal. And I'm sorry for these other plants. Their lifespan is going to be over. They're just going to get put out in the compost. All right, I got those ones done. I'll go ahead and get the rest of these done, and then we'll come back and show you what we got. All right, got them all pricked out and potted up. Now it's just a matter of watering in. Now, I use my old handy dandy waterer, and I water them good enough that I can see them move. So I know I've settled the dirt around them, or the potting mix, if that's whatever you want to call it. Just saturate them good. Whatever extra will go out. I'll come back and do this one more time. Make sure I get them all watered in good. You can see how easy this process is. Uh, you can get you whatever variety you want. You can save seeds from your ones that you had before. Now, if you're saving from a genetically modified tomato in the store, I think you're wasting your time growing your own. If you're just wanting to grow something, I guess that's good. But you really want to grow good quality root nutrient dense food. There's been a lot of push now. We've had pharmaceuticals for so long. Now they're talking about nutraceuticals. So eventually, maybe they'll talk about eating properly and getting good quality food. Uh, those of you that grow your own food, that's been growing it for a long time, uh, you know how much tastier that food is than that you buy in the store. I don't have to preach to that choir. Those that haven't started growing your own, you don't know what you're missing out on. And there's so many varieties. And I know a lot of times someone might not like a particular food, but they grow a different variety, and the varieties are so much different. And then your tastes change over the years. I know varieties of just collards, for instance, used to like them, but the flavor just isn't the same anymore. Maybe I'm used to the ones back when I grew them with chemical fertilizer, and so once they get more nutrients, it changes the flavor. I don't know, but this is the process. I'll try to link the video that I took a week ago when we was planting these seeds, multi-sowing them, and that way, those of you that haven't grown your own before, but that takes a whole lot less area. You don't have to worry about thinning out. You do have to go through the potting up process, but it's not hard. Uh, the plants are delicate, but usually you try to grab them by the leaves. Occasionally I'll pull a leaf off. I've done that in past videos, and the plants do fine. Now I did want to talk about one plant here, and after I get watered, I'll show you it, but it's kind of a mutation. It's a safe seed, but we're going to look at the difference for a minute, because there's got to be quite a bit of difference before you start actually noticing it when you're planting them. And I noticed it right off. Of course, I've planted a lot of seeds in a lot of years, so I kind of pay attention to them. A lot of times I'll get a seed that I saved, and it'll come out with a strange looking fruit compared to the other ones, but I try to grow more like that from the seeds I saved from those fruits, and they come back to the original. So it's kind of exciting, I guess you could see the varieties that you can come up with. Looks like I'm one short there. I'll have to come back and fix that up. I don't know what I was doing. Not that I need that many. Now these here are they're 36 cell flats, so I've got 72 tomato plants. Now I'll probably plant most of these except for the cherry tomatoes. I'm only going to plant a couple of tomatoes. Usually we get plenty from those. But we're going to take a look here. I'm going to plant that other one, and then we're going to take a look at that different plant. Okay, got them all planted now. And I want you to look at this one tomato. That one right there, of course it doesn't curl its leaf back, but it has 3 leaves. And it just stuck out when I picked it up, because anytime you have a seed germinate it in your vegetables, normally they'll germinate out and they'll shoot out 2 leaves. But that one actually shot out that 3rd leaf right there. And I said, I'm going to try to pay special attention to it, and maybe even save seeds, see how it produces, and maybe save some seeds from it. That's the way a lot of times varieties happen, but it's strange that it would. I've been saving Cherokee purple tomato seeds for a long time and never had that issue. But anyway, for those of you that's new, we'll zoom out just a little bit. Those of you that's new, tomato plants and peppers are the same way. You just don't see the hairs, but on the tomatoes, you'll see the hairs up the stem. If you look close when they're that small, you'll actually see them. They'll put out roots all along the stems. Now, the same thing with the peppers. Once they come up, we'll plant them deep just like this, and they'll root in out from that stem, and they'll be a whole lot more vigorous. But now, what we're going to do today, I'm just going to put these on the shelf so they're under the time grow lights inside here for tonight. And then tomorrow I'll get my other seed starting station out. It's basically it's the same as this, except it's on wheels so I can roll it around. And I'm gonna put these out in the shop. Now it's been being around 42 degrees or so. Tonight it's supposed to get to 24, and it's done got down to 20 and 22 here this past week. So it stays pretty much overnight. It'll stay in the 40s. We'll see how it does tonight, being it wasn't even up into the 40s in the day. So, but if it's going to get colder than that, I can always add a heat mat to make sure that they're not going to get below that. 40 will be all right. It's not going to kill a tomato plant. They're up. They're ready to go. They're just not going to grow as fast. And right now, I don't want mine to grow fast. I want them to grow big, heavy, stocky tomato transplants. In fact, I might move these up to a bigger pot if they get up to a pretty good size. I don't never want to slow down the root growth. Once they get root bound, it takes them a little bit longer to establish. They will establish fine. They just don't keep growing as quick as they were. So anyway, that's where we're at on this. We're not going to put a dome over these. If you put a dome, that's going to increase the chance of them getting leggy, because like I say, that dome will create just a little bit more heat in there, and we don't want heat, because too much heat and not enough light's what's going to cause the leggy situation. Now, a lot of people, when they grow their own, what they do to get rid of some of the leggy issue is they put their lights on a longer timer. These here are probably about 14 hours on the timer, pretty close to it. And I just leave it on that all the time. But anyway, there you go. If you want to see more videos on growing your own food, self-sufficiency, preserving, all of that, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, select all, give it a big thumbs up, and share this video. Enjoy that gardening experience.